When I arrived at the hospital, the ambulance office and doctors thought I was dead, she says. Wendy had to undergo multiple surgeries to save her leg and was unable to walk or leave hospital for 12 months. As the driver had been drunk and was not insured, I had no way of making a claim against him. That meant Wendy was faced with staggering hospital bills in Turkey. I was finally released from the Turkish hospital in September 2020, a year after the accident, and my medical bill was £150,000. COVID had hit, which meant I couldn't leave Turkey to come back home for NHS rehab. I was forced to spend even more money to learn to walk again, she says. During rehab, I fell and broke my arm, and it needed surgery to insert a plate. All I could think about was getting back to England and finding work. Wendy was finally able to return to Morden in October 2021 and was still reliant on a walking stick, had minimal use of her right arm, and no income. The only way I could pay my medical bills was to sell my home in Turkey for £28,000 and my 3-bedroom house here for £200,000. I was left with barely £5,000 to my name and began working as a carer for my elderly mother, she says. I was so devastated my financial future was in ruins. I could barely walk and was in constant pain, but I knew I had to rebuild my life and my finances. I was surviving on my £81 a week carer's allowance. My mom is 92 and lives with dementia. She needs constant care, she says. I was living at mom's care for her. She lives in a 2-bedroom council bungalow. Wendy says the local council refused to let her stay permanently because her mother's home was part of a specialist elder community. I was saving up for a room deposit in a shared house, caring for mom and recovering from my own debilitating injuries when I learned I couldn't stay at my mom's, she says. I have no money left for hotels or a deposit. My children have their own children and live in small homes. I am now sofa surfing and homeless. I have deferred my state pension for a year because I am trying to get back on my feet and have some sort of house share or accommodation first. I must try and find jobs that I can do given my life-altering injuries caused by the drunk driver. I am doing whatever it takes. Wendy does try to find work where she can, working as a TV extra, babysitting, or basic phone admin just to be able to buy food and pay for her travel. I do not have a car. I rely on my bus pass. Some weeks I only have £81, and from week to week I never know where I am going to be living. Each week I apply for dozens of part-time and casual jobs. When I have to explain I do not have a permanent address, people look at me and are shocked, she says. I have put myself on a list for council accommodation, but I am not considered a priority. The cost of living and grocery prices means I survive on food bank parcels. I am not ashamed to admit at 66 that's what I must do. I know other retirees are just like me. I am still doing my online travel agent work. I hate being a burden on anyone. If it weren't for friends and relatives offering a sofa to sleep on, I'd be sleeping rough or in a shelter. I wake up each morning and pack away the blankets and pillows. I then start sending out resumes. I go to whatever job I can find. I can only repay my friends or relatives by babysitting, helping around their house, helping with admin, or using my reorganization skills if they need kitchens or bedrooms sorted. I am a regular visitor to the food bank. I still need therapy for my leg and arm. There are some days I want to end it all, but I refuse to let that happen. I do whatever job I can find. I am just grateful I am still alive. I am grateful I have the will to find work. I know wherever I get work I can be a valuable asset. I ran my own business for 27 years. I can teach other staff so many things. I haven't bought new clothes since the accident. I had to sell everything I owned. I am starting again at 66. I am a gray rinse grafter who is refusing to give up. There are so many nights I cry myself to sleep. These days I am grateful for any work I can find and simply having somewhere to sleep. I don't want sympathy. I want a job I can use to buy food and get a small room to rent.